Welcome to Hollywood Recapped. Today I'm going to show you a 2016 slasher film called Hush. Spoilers ahead, look out and take care. Inside a house situated in the forest, Maddie is setting up a full course lamb supper with direction from the PC. She is in a flash uncovered to the hard of hearing. As she tastes her cooking, a warning springs up on her PC. It's Sarah from nearby inquiring as to whether she can stop by. Maddie detects her companion strolling towards the house. Sarah tells Maddie, through gesture-based communication, that she had simply wrapped up perusing her book. She then, at that point, asks how does Maddie come up with her composition. Maddie tells her that it's called essays. The mind, as her mom would say. It makes her go off the deep end any conceivable. The result resembles a film in her mind, with numerous endings. Their discussion is hindered by the boisterous and blasting clamor. They run once more into the house to find smoke emerging from the broiler and the alarm radiating in exceptionally extraordinary caution. Maddie apologizes for her amazing fire alert and lets Sarah know that she really wants it, since she needs to feel the vibrations. To awaken, she provides Sarah with her own duplicate of the book, before Sarah says her farewell. Soon thereafter, Maddie is sitting alone in her parlor attempting to wrap up her original copy. Feeling baffled, she attempts to occupy herself by cleaning the wreck in the kitchen. Unexpectedly, her companion Sarah approaches Maddie's kitchen entryway, shouting and crying frantically for help. She is attempting to open the entryway, however it's locked. Maddie is cleaning the kitchen, however she can't see her companion. Sarah's penetrating shout stop as an old lurchin penetrates her back. A male gatecrasher in a ski cap in white Dale gets up to speak to Sarah and wounds her against Maddie's kitchen entryway. He keeps on wounding her until her dormant body droops down to the floor. The gatecrasher attempts to get Maddie's consideration by thumping on her entryway. Yet, Maddie doesn't react. He quickly concludes that she is most likely hard of hearing. As she keeps working, the gatecrasher slips into the house. With one hand bearing a bolt, he is going to wound her when he is hindered by Maddie's sister, Alex. Video calling her, he snatches Maddie's telephone and stows away. Alex asks her how Maddie's book is going. Be that as it may, Maddie says she's stuck and needs a interruption. She convinces her to return to the city and live with her, however Maddie doesn't have any desire to. Their discussion is hindered when Alex inquires as to whether there's somebody behind her, since she saw something move. Maddie consoles her that it's most likely the feline. Maddie gets her feline's bowl, furthermore starts shaking it. She circumvents the house shaking the bowl, however her feline is no place in sight. She pays no brain to this and leaves the bowl by the entryway and returns to her composition. A notice springs up on her PC and uncovers a message sent by Maddie's own telephone. Befuddled, she opens the message to see a picture set of herself while she was having the call with her sister. Frozen, Maddie strolls to the entryway to see the covered interloper holding her telephone. She rapidly closes and locks the entryway before he can get in. The interloper, furnished with a crossbow, goes to each entryway of the house attempting to get in. Be that as it may, Maddie locks every one of them. The power goes out, and from the window, she could see him slicing her tires. There's zero chance of getaway now. Maddie snatches a lipstick from her pack and frantically composes on the glass entryway. She says that she won't tell anybody she hasn't seen his face and her sweetheart is getting back home soon. Hoping that the man would acknowledge her fame, the interloper removes his cover to uncover his face and neck tattoo. He inquires as to whether she can pay close attention to him, to which she gestures. Since she has seen his face, he needs to kill her. Maddie runs back to her kitchen to get the blade. She goes to her room and bets the entryway and windows. As she clusters up in one corner, shaking and crying, something begins beating on one of her windows. Frightened, she admires the gatecrasher conveying Sarah's dead body and banging her dormant arm against the window pane. Maddie drops her blade in shock and steps back, crying at seeing her dead companion. Maddie understands that Sarah should in any case have her own telephone with her. She attempts to occupy the interloper by actuating her vehicle caution. Whenever he's involved, a wheezing Maddie makes a run for it, opens the window, and goes after the telephone inside her companion's back pocket. The interloper quickly gets her in the demonstration. He attempts to grab her, yet she shuts the window on his fingers. He shouts in torment and attempts to get into the windows, however she smacks his arms out with a sledge, making him pull out and locks the window once more. Burning through no time, Maddie stows away from the interloper. As he comes back around the house, she discreetly slips away the kitchen entryway and stows away under the unfinished plumbing space of the porch. Similarly, as she's going to make a run for it, the interloper dispatches the crossbow, which leaves her speechless. Declining to be a deer in headlights, she runs back to the house and makes it securely inside. scarcely getting away with her life frantic. For an exit plan, Maddie goes higher up to her space. She airs out a window, presses herself out and arrives on the rooftop. With shaking hands, Maddie then, at that point, throws a spotlight into the forest behind her house. This grabs the gatecrasher's eye. What's more, he follows the light. She begins strolling across the rooftop to the front of the house, her legs shaking with dread. As she's descending from the rooftop, an interloper astounds her with a bolt at her leg. He makes another effort and barely misses her head. Maddie pulls herself up. As she cornmeal her teeth from the aggravation, the interloper starts to move up to the rooftop, yet Maddie pushes him throughout on schedule to snatch his crossbow and throw him back to the ground. With a difficult limp, she conveys back the crossbow into the house with perfect timing to close the higher-up window. Similarly, as she's attempting to stack the crossbow stairs bow, John shows up at the front entryway looking for his better half. The interloper leaves him speechless. Claiming to be a cop, he asks John for ID and lets him know that he reacted to a 911 543 call made by an occupant. He then, at that point, lets John know that an interloper pushed him over and took his weapon and radio, and presently he really wants to acquire John's telephone to call for reinforcements. John becomes dubious and asks him how would Maddie be able to have settled on the decision when she's hard of hearing and quiet. John lets the gatecrasher know that there's presumably an extra key is concealed under one of the plants by the porch. As the gatecrasher goes to search for the key, John creeps up behind him with a stone in hand, prepared to strike. Maddie sees John from the kitchen entryway and starts beating on the glass. This occupies John and leaves an opening for the gatecrasher to wound him on the neck. Heaving for air as the blood spurts out of his neck, John doesn't surrender without a battle. They coincidentally find the ground and John traps the interloper in a stranglehold. As Maddie watches to see the battle, she runs over the various results of escape in her present circumstance. She can't surpass him with a harmed leg. Assuming she utilizes the crossbow, it must be an ideal shot on the off chance that she attempts to get the power back on. He will get her before she makes it back. Assuming she conceals, he just necessitates a stone to crash open one of the windows. On the off chance that the gatecrasher doesn't see as her, she will drain absurdly in any case. She can't return to the unfinished plumbing space. Once more, her heart shouts out in torment and she knows she won't keep going long and she's using up all available time. The gatecrasher breaks liberated from John's stranglehold and shoves him to the side. John drains out and passes on, unfit to help Maddie. Maddie accepts this open door and shoots the bolt into his shoulder. The interloper shouts out in torment his fury, filling his craving to kill her. He pursues Maddie back into the house, furthermore traps her hand in, shutting the kitchen entryway. Incapable to shout out in torment, Maddie can just cry as he tramples her hand, breaking the bones in her fingers with her leftover energy. She recovers her hand once more into the house. As the interloper attempts to tear open the glass entryway, Maddie composes the portrayal of the interloper in her PC with her remaining hand and secures herself in the restroom. As she's sitting tight for him to burst in, the interloper slips through the messed up window and deadheads up behind her. Similarly, as he's going to strike her, Maddie feels his breath on her neck and turns around to wound him on the knee. He shouts in torment and rushes at her with his wrecked knee. Maddie frantically jumps back to the kitchen with her wrecked hand and draining leg and implodes adjacent to one of the cupboards. As the gatecrasher strolls towards her, she points a bug shower into his face and reactivates her alarm, getting her a touch of time. The gatecrasher at last gets up to speak to her. What's more, they are trapped in a battle. He punches her face and stifles her. However, Maddie retaliates, driving his finger into his physical issue. He pummels her to the floor and gags her again, and she sees her life blazing prior to her eyes. As her pulse dials back, she comes to for the wine opener with the last inch of her life. What's more, with a strong swing, she wounds him one final time on the neck. He sets his grips free from her neck as he gags on his own blood and implodes on the floor close to her. Maddie heaves for air and rapidly comes to for the telephone in his pocket and dials 911. This is her opportunity to get away from. She gives one final gander at the dead gatecrasher and gradually advances toward the porch, where she plunks down close to her feline. As Maddie pets the fuzzy little animal, blazing lights from the police are seen in a distance. She shuts her eyes and sighs. She made do, and she won. Subscribe to watch more videos like this and turn on notifications. Please leave a like, it really helps the channel. Thank you for watching.